When you think of harmony in Southern gospel music, when you think of dedication to ministry, you think of the Nelons. For decades, their voices blended like threads in a divine tapestry, telling stories of hope, lifting hearts toward heaven, and reminding us of the unfailing love of Jesus Christ. But then in a moment that shook the gospel music community to its core, their earthly song was silenced. The news of their passing in a tragic plane crash felt impossible to accept. Fans, friends, and fellow believers asked the same heart-wrenching question: why would God take them now, when they were so on fire for His glory, when their ministry was touching lives like wildfire? And the truth is, there is no simple answer. Death, especially sudden and tragic death, often leaves us grasping for meaning. But faith reminds us of something powerful. God's ways are higher than ours. His wisdom runs deeper than we can comprehend. As Isaiah 55 tells us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." Some believe that every person has a divine mission, a calling written by God before they were even born. For some, that mission is fulfilled over many decades. For others, the work is completed in what feels to us like far too short a time. The Nelons, with albums like Loving You, Beautiful, Peace at Last, the Americana Sessions, and Stronger Together, poured out their calling fully. They traveled the world, sang the gospel with power and grace, and left behind music that will keep speaking to hearts long after their voices have joined heaven's choir. Isaiah 57 verses 1-2 offers a perspective that is both humbling and comforting. Good people pass away. The godly often die before their time. But no one seems to care or wonder why. No one seems to understand that God is protecting them from the evil to come. For those who follow godly paths will rest in peace when they die. Perhaps God, in His mercy, called them home, not because their work was incomplete, but because it was finished, because their voices were needed in the eternal choir, where no sickness, no sorrow, and no tragedy can touch them again. Kelly, Jason, and Amber are now home, singing not just about heaven, but in heaven. And while our hearts ache, we know this: heaven is real, and a reunion will be sweeter than words can tell. And then there is Autumn, the lone survivor, still here for a reason, still carrying the torch. We believe with all our hearts that God has a divine purpose for her, to continue the legacy of the Nelons, to keep the harmonies alive, and to remind us all that even in our grief, God is still good. The Nelons' music will go on. Their ministry will go on. Their message will go on. Because death can silence a voice, but it can never silence the gospel. We may never fully understand God's timing, but we can trust it. And until we see them again, we will keep singing, keep believing, and keep remembering the Nelons, not only for the music they made, but for the way they lived and the Savior they loved.